Going into the PlotMonitor, so I've selected PlotMonitor.co.za. I've logged in. Now select the project. I'm going to select Quadube. I'll go straight into the PlotMonitor here. You can see it's the PlotMonitor. The left hand side of the PlotMonitor deals with any filtering of this table. So this left hand side is filtering the table, the right hand side is updating the table. On both sides there's a structure drop down box where you have to select the structure. So in this case I'll select a slab, and then I want to filter by all the allocated sites. Now push search. You always have to push search. You can see there it's processing. Always look at this label, it tells you what it's doing. There's the number of records that have been allocated, and you can see here it's been allocated to this particular slab contractor. If I want to filter it further by the slab contractor, I can say give me all the slab contractors for, say, for GEE U, and search, and it'll bring up only those. To take the filter off again, I push on the three dots, say search, and now it goes back to all the allocated records. I'm going to take that off, push on the three dots. I can say, okay, give me all the slabs where the work in progress is started. Search, and there it is. I can say give me all of them where the work in progress is not started. Let's search, and it gives me those records. Take that off. You can do the same for completion. You can say give me all the completed slabs. If I change that to roof, it'll give me all the completed roofs. You can select the work in progress where the work in progress is started but the completion is not completed. Search for the slab, and it should give you all those records. You can see it's processing. There's the records. The next thing you can say where the work in progress is completed and the contractor's inspection has failed. Search, and it'll give you those records. There's nothing to show at the moment. I'm going to take that off because you actually don't need that. Okay, where the contractor's inspection has failed, do a search on that. Nothing for Quadube. This project doesn't have any. Okay, or you can say where the contractor's inspection is passed, or you can say where it hasn't been inspected. The same goes for the engineer's inspections. You can say give me all the slabs where the engineer's inspection is passed. You can say where they failed or where they haven't been inspected yet. You can also filter records by any of these fields. You can search for a lot number, and you can search for a member ID number, beneficiary ID. And every time you do a change, you have to push the search button. You can also export and download the table. I'll show you. I'll do one for allocated. This is a new project, so there's not much allocated here. I'll do a search. Those are the records that have been allocated. Now I want to download them, so I'll say export and download, and there it is, and you can open it with a spreadsheet. Just remove that. I'm going to show you how groups work now. Okay, first you can create any kind of a group, so you can say This is to select the group. I'll select the test groups, and then all the commands are in here. If you want to say show the group, it'll give you all the records in that group. It says processing and there's nothing in it. Let's add a record. So I'm going to say show all records. That means the group will not be applied. There it is, and you can see it's cleared the groups and it's cleared the command. And there's all the records. Let's add some to a group. We'll click on those and go to the group and say add to group, add selected records to group. Okay, now we can say show the group, and it's processing. There's the records that belong to that group. Now it's easy to work with that group, and you can see the lot numbers that are in that group came up over there. Now I can check all the records for that group, and I can do any operation on it. The section here shows all the completed D6s for the project. On the right hand side you allocate structures, so you can select a slab, for example, and then you can allocate a subcontractor. You can say there's a subcontractor, and then you can enter an amount, say 2,500 Rand if we're paying him for the slab. The reason why we enter an amount here is because this program has the ability to create remittance advices for the subcontractors. This is the invoice that the subcontractor submits to the contractor. The application can also keep track of how much is being paid, how much is used. It's got a facility to do a complete materials control. So there's a bill of materials for each house. We know how much to issue every contractor depending on how many structures they have. If they get to completion, the contractor inspects it and allows the subcontractor to invoice him 80% of the contract price, and the other 20% normally gets paid when the engineers have done their inspection. From here you can allocate the subcontractor. We choose the subcontractor. Let's select these records. We allocate the subcontractor, and you'll see that the name has come up here, these two records. We can also print the contract. Let's select them again. You can print and allocate at the same time, but we haven't done that. Let's say print the contract. And there's the contract. This is the contract between the subcontractor and the contractor, and covers all the terms of the contract for that particular structure. It is also possible to update the progress. For example, you might say that the work in progress has started on 18th for these structures. Let's select these structures, those two, and say that the work in progress started on the 18th, and there they are, the 18th. Now we can also say, and this shouldn't be done in manually in this application, but it is possible. The completion of this particular structure should be updated from the inspections, but it is possible to do it manually. I'm going to do it manually on these two. Push update, and it will show that the slab has been completed on those. This is just to catch up for where projects goes onto the system halfway through, and a lot of the structures have been completed without having been inspected through our system. It is also possible to change a contractor. You can select a new contractor for a particular set of records and give a reason, can say abandon the site or whatever it is, and say change contractor. You have to provide a reason, otherwise it won't update it. It won't change the contractor. You can also enter the pegging site instruction. It might be 444. You can enter geotech site instruction number. You can enter geotech classification and push update, and it'll put it into the record. You can enter a build sequence. This is particularly helpful to keep track of your progress through the project. You can enter sites with queries. You might say, look, this site here, I'm going to select one and say this site has had a problem with a high water table. Update, and you can see it says high water table, and now they won't be able to progress the site until that's been rectified by the implementing agent. You can also print a D6. I'm going to print a D6 for this one, a D6 request. Go into here and click on D6. You can see it's processing. You can see it's processing here. And there's the D6. It shows the sites. You can also do an inspection request. You can say, I need the ERs to do an inspection on platform cutting on this site, on these two sites, and push the submit button. And then to see your inspection requests, you can go to this option in the menu, inspection requests, and it will show all your inspection requests. When the requests have been done, when the inspections have been done, the date will come up in this column, and it won't show unless you say you want to see the ones that are completed as well, and then it will show you ones that have already been done. Otherwise, it will only show the ones that still need to be done. Go back to the PlotMonitor, and the other things I wanted to show you is that you can change the number of rows in the grid. Say search, and it now only shows 10 rows, and it shows you the others in the paging. You can also print and download. Let's say I want to download all the records that are being shown. I push this button, and there it is. It's downloaded in CSV format that can be easily opened in Excel. Take that away. Go through the columns again briefly. It's got the beneficiary's ID, the lot number, surname, any site queries. This one's got access, problems. It's got the BA approved. It's got pegging site instruction date, pegging site instruction number, peg QMF, platform cut, geotech site instruction number, geo site date, geo classification 1, classification 2, geo ground type, that should be ground type, slab contract date. The next part of this PlotMonitor deals with each structure, and you can see slab goes up to there, and then those get repeated 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 columns, 11 columns that get repeated over and over for each structure. The first column in the series is the date that the slab has been allocated to a subcontractor. That's this date, and then the subcontractor's name, and then the date that it goes into production, which is done manually from here inside the program by the site manager. then the date that it's completed, which is updated through the inspections from the engineering representative. Then it's got a series of inspection results. The first one is by the contractor's inspection, which is the C in front of the name. It's slab C inspection. That C stands for contractor. It's got slab inspection, and this is the date of the inspection. Then it's got any issues that they might have picked up, why they failed it, the reason why they failed it. If it passes, there'll be no issues. And then whether it passed or failed, that's a P or a F. P for pass, F for fail. The next series of 3 columns is for the engineers, when the engineers inspected it. The first is the date, then it's any issues, why it might have failed, and then pass or fail, P or F again. You can see this one here has failed. And then it's the slab D6, block delivery, tank base, and then it starts again for the wall contractor. The wall contract date, the contractor's name, the work in progress date, date complete, and then the contractor's wall inspection date, wall inspection issues, pass or fail, engineer's wall inspection, any issues, wall pass or fail, wall D6, and then it goes on to roof. And there are others in between, like the happy letter. We've got a plastering structure here as well, and so it goes on. There are about 90 columns in this PlotMonitor. You can check all records, you can uncheck some. It doesn't check everything in the database, it only checks the ones that are up on the page at the moment. If you want to show everything, you have to increase this so that it's equal to or more than this value here of the total records. So if I want to show all these records, I can enter 1500 in there and push the search button. I'm not going to do it because it takes too long, and then it'll show me all the records that are in the database in the one single page, and I can check all of them and work with a whole project. And that's the PlotMonitor in a nutshell. Thank you.